4 of 2023 is round 3 of the 2023 WSK Supermaster Series right here at the foot of that. Yes, the still active volcano at Mount Vesuvius. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to round 3 of the championship as we move into the second half of the WSK Supermaster Series, which dates back to 2010. Great to have your company this morning live on what is thankfully a finally sunny day here in SARNO. Still quite cool. As you can see, we're only expecting around about 12 or 13 degrees Celsius here this morning. There has been rain, there has been wind, it has been cold, even though we're just a few weeks out from the start of springtime in the Northern Hemisphere. In a few moments, we will race for the first of our 10 pre-finals here this morning, starting with OK Junior Pre-Final A. The final warm-ups just taking place at the moment. I can tell you that James Zagotzi, who won round 1 of the OK Senior Championship at Lonato, has just gone quickest in the morning warm-up, ahead of Thomas Stralvan and René Lammers from Belgium and Holland, respectively. Thomas Dolceman is in P4, but James Zagotzi has just topped the warm-up in OK, the senior category. They'll be pulling into pit lane in a moment, and they will be underway with the first of our 10 pre-finals here this morning. 255 drivers from 43 nations around the world for this, the WSK Supermaster Series, the third round. Of course, the fourth event of 2023. We kicked off with the WSK Champions Cup, and then a week later, round 1 of this, the WSK Supermaster Series, also at Lonato. 2 weeks ago, for the first time at Franciacorta, that was the 21st circuit that WSK promotion has ever raced at. And we come back here to the popular venue outside of Naples or Napoli in the south of Italy for round 3 of the championship. As we say, thankfully, on a sunny day here at Napoli, Circuito Internazionale Napoli, simply known as SARNO. OK Junior Pre-Final A in just a moment to come out onto the circuit. The reigning WSK Supermaster Series champion, Alexander Bondarev. He took pole position to get his championship back on track after a tough start to 2023. Taking pole position on what was still a green track on Friday, 55.865. Zach Drummond, he was quickest in the first group of qualifying. We'll see both these drivers in action in just a moment. Spectacular racing throughout the heats. 12 heats on Friday afternoon after qualifying and 26 yesterday. Alexander Bondarev will start from pole position for Pre-Final A. We'll take a look at the grid for you in just a moment. And alongside him, his former teammate, the Colombian, the WSK Open Cup champion from 2022, Salim Hane Hernandez. 10 pre-finals this morning, and then the first of our finals this afternoon, starting with OK Junior. That is at 10 minutes to 2 local time here in Italy, followed by the mini under 10 final. That is at 20 past 2. At 10 minutes to 3 is the 60 mini final, KZ2 at 20 minutes past 3, and at 10 minutes to 4 the OK final to race and conclude what has been a pretty good week of racing here for round 3 of the Supermaster Series. Just in time for you to tune in to the Bahrain Formula 1 Grand Prix taking place to kick off the FIA Formula 1 World Championship later on this afternoon. Of course, the Formula 1 World Championship, 20 drivers on the grid, 15 have come from the world of WSK, including the series or the championship debutantes, Logan Sargent, Oscar Piastri, both formerly with Ricky Flynn Motorsport. Oscar making his debut with the McLaren team, the FIA Formula 3, Formula 2 champion, and former Ricky Flynn Motorsport driver Logan Sargent, also for Ricky Flynn Motorsport, winner of the WSK Champions Cup back in 2016, making his Formula 1 debut with the Williams Grand Prix team later on this afternoon. You can catch that, of course, after the OK final. Just speaking of RFM, 20 drivers on the grid. Well, 15 have come from the world of WSK. 4 of the current 20 drivers on the grid are Ricky Flynn Motorsport drivers, including Joe Guan Yu, Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, and the aforementioned American Logan Sargent. Pretty impressive from Ricky's team. And they're about to have one of their drivers start on the front row of the grid for the first of our pre-finals this morning. Salim Hane Hernandez out of Group 2, alongside the defending champion Alexander Bondarev in the 305 Kart Republic, but he won the title 12 months ago with Ricky Flynn Motorsport. Just a slight delay as the track is cleared after the morning warm-up. In a few moments before we get underway with the first of our pre-finals over 13 laps, 20 kilometres of this super fast SARNO circuit. Incredible to note the top speeds recorded throughout the weekend so far. 60 Mini, would you believe, 114 k's an hour. OK Junior, 130, even 131 k's an hour. OK, 138 k's an hour. And KZ2, 153 k's an hour on the 1.55 kilometre circuit, which was built back by the Sorrentino family back in 1994. 30 years of operation next year, the 30th anniversary of this world-famous circuit, which has been part of the 18-year history of WSK promotion. This is the 18th year of WSK promotion. We raced for the 21st time at a different circuit at Franciacorta a few weeks ago. And the 22nd circuit we'll race at will be the final round of this, the WSK Supermaster Series at Cremona on the 30th of April. Before that, we kick off the new look WSK Open Series. That is next weekend, back at the centre of the karting universe. You know it's South Garda Karting Lonato. That's in 7 days' time. 14 events on the WSK calendar for 2023, plus the 10th anniversary year of the world's most competitive junior motor racing series, which is, of course, the Italian Formula 4 Championship. The first ever champion, 2014, none other than Lance Stroll. 4 drivers from the Italian F4 Series graduating to Formula 1, including Lance, Zhou Guanyu, Mick Schumacher, and Lando Norris, of course. So we wait for the cars to come out onto the track. Here they come, they exit pit lane now. And with that, we'll take a look at the grid for the first of our 10 pre-finals here this morning. Alexander Bondarev to start on pole position. The defending champion is alongside the Colombian Salim Hanna Hernandez. Tiziano Monza on the second row starts alongside Filippo Sala in the Sodi kart. Third row of the grid, Christian Kostoya and Jindrik Peschel, the 2 former WSK champions. Kirill Ditsiev and the impressive Brit Noel Wolf out of 8. Simon Reckenmacher, watch him come storming through as he did throughout the heats. Starts out at grid 9 alongside the Texan Jack Iliff. Joel Pajola, Jedisam Skulinov, Stepan Antonov, who won at Franciacorta, is alongside the second Iliff brother. That's Oscar out of 14, Gino Rocchio, Guy Elbag, Tobias Shetseni, Tomas Gender, Mark Brovko, and Jackson Burns out of 20. 11th row of the grid, David Gorchicha in the MS car for Forza Racing Czech Republic. Meryl Peldesh, Shimek, Roman Kamyab, Alexander Chartier, Makar Savalev, Louis Castellini, and Radek Vavra from the Czech Republic on the final row of the grid. Great to have your company as you join us live for the first of our 10 pre-finals here this morning. Bondarev to the left of your screen on pole position. Round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series. And for the first time today, we race. Salim Hanna Hernandez has missed the start. He's in the marbles. He's back into 6th place. No problem for the defending champion, Alexander Bondarev, who goes down into turn 2 in position 1. Tiziano Monza, the Swiss Singaporean, follows him into 2nd place. There's been a monster pile-up at the exit of turn 1, which has eliminated 4 karts, including Filippo Sala. Mark Brovko also burns. Jackson attempting to restart. Filippo Sala is out. Jackson is also out of the race. One final push off screen for Filippo Sala in the Sodi kart. He won't do it. Sala is out. Jackson Burns is out. Mark Brovko retires, as does Meryl Peldesh, Makar Savalev, and Vavra also involved in that, but we believe he's been able to keep going as Bondarev comes across the line for the first time in position 1 from Tiziano Monza, who's being hounded by Christian Kostoya. Kirill Ditsiev, 3-2-3 in the Tony karts. Just ahead of Simon Reckenmacher will Salim Hanna Hernandez, may have missed the start, but he's still in the race. An almighty pile up at the exit of turn 1. The drivers are fine, the carts are not. And we have lost Sala, Genda, Brovko, Burns, Peldesh, Savalov, and Vavra has not been able to restart. The Czech is also out. The field bunch up further back in the pack. Gino Rocchio has made a fabulous start in the DR cart, up into P11 behind last year's WSK Supermaster Series mini champion Indrik Peschel, ahead of Guy Elbach, the Israeli, ahead of Joel Pajola. Jack Eilef falls back to 14th as they complete lap 2, as Kostoya makes a move down the inside and takes Tiziano for second place. Monza looks over his shoulder back to the Russian Kirill Dityev. 3-2-3 in the Tony kart. Salim Hana Hernandez, the WSK Open Cup champion. There is the Colombian, just rides the ripple strip down through turns 3, 4, 5 and 6 as they go up the old back straight for the third time. Lap 3 of 13, pre-final A, OKJ, and Bondarev leads the way. Roman Kamyab at the back of the pack was also involved in that incident on the very first lap of the race, but the Brit has been able to rejoin. He's down in 21st place behind the Canadian Alexander Chartier, who also avoided the carnage. Those two are still in the race, fortunately, and they've got time. They've got another 10 laps to claw their way back into contention and to get some valuable points going into this afternoon's final. Salim Hana Hernandez just sets the fastest lap as the race settles into a rhythm of 55.132 for the South American, ahead of the Franciacorta race winner, Stepan Antonov. 3-1-0 for the Russian. From grid 13, he's up to position 6. He's just taken Simon Rekamacher as they go up the old back straight. Bondarev has been caught by Kostoya. Kart Republic versus Parolin. Two of them, in fact. Motza Tiziano sits there in third place. Bondarev had a lead of half a second. It is down to 0.163. In fact, you can see on your screen as they ride the multiple bumps here at Sarno, it is just 2 kart lengths. The Kart Republic getting airborne over the bumps here, and Kostoya gets the toe down the start-finish straight. We'll check the top speed as they race down into turn 1, 130 k's an hour for both Kostoya and Kirill Ditsiev. 129 for Bondarev, 127 for Monza. And the order does not change. Kostoya, the 3 times WSK champion, glued to the back of the Ukrainian, the defending champion. That was for RFM in 2022. Sideways, airborne over the bumps. Down the back straight, he'll lose a couple of engine RPM. And Kostoya takes advantage, goes deep, drives up the inside, and Christian Kostoya takes the lead. Nicely done by the Spaniard. Bondarev back into P3. The Paralin karts run first and second. Look at the bumps as they go into the final corner. Struggling to hold on to it on still relatively cold tyres on a still cool morning here. You can see the rubber line going down here. That will help ride the bumps with these karts. Resembling a rallycross circuit in parts. The 1,550 metre circuit. Super fast, but that has been a talking point, the bumps here at Sarno, as they come out of turn 6. They ride the ripple strip up the old back straight. It is Kostoya, Monza, Bondarev back to P3. Kirill Ditsiev, Stepan Antonov, the 2 Russians ahead of Salim Hana Hernandez. Oscar Eilef, the American, from grid 14, up into 7th place, ahead of Noah Wolf. Simon Reckenmacher falls back to 9th place, the German for TB Motorsport, after that great start. And Indrik Peschel rounds out the 10. Monza 377, Kostoya 350. Paralin Motorsport first and second in the first of our pre-finals here this morning. Hernandez in the background as Monza tries to make a move on his teammate down into turn 2. Through turns 5, 6, 7. And then they accelerate, trying to get a perfect run onto the old back straight. Just clips the ripple strip ever so slightly, does Kostoya, and then accelerates. But he breaks the air, breaks the slipstream, and makes an advantage for his teammate Monzo, who slips down the inside, and Bondarev follows him through. Kostoya back to 3rd place. There is the Franciacorta winner, Stepan Antonov. In fourth place, they make contact. Trying to avoid the bumps here at SARNO. Stepan Antonov almost running into the back of Alexander Bondarev. And Christian Kostoya, who just a lap ago was in the lead. Half race distance of pre-final A for OKJ here this morning at SARNO. Monza, Bondarev, there is Stepan Antonov. The Russian in P3, the Ukrainian in P2, the Swiss Singaporean in the Paralympian. His name is Tiziano Monza, he's in P1. Bondarev rides the ripple strip. The 305 Kart Republic powered by the IAMI. Going up the back straight, there is Antonov, also in the Kart Republic in third place. Titiev, Salim Hannah Hernandez just sits there in sixth place. For Ricky Flynn Motorsport ahead of Kostoya, he's back to seventh. Eilert, Wolf. Great try from Noah Wolf, not only here this morning, but all weekend. The Brit, as Bondarev runs off the road. Rides the bumps, and it threw him almost off the circuit. Bondarev from P2, the defending champion, regathers up, but he's lost a ton of time, and he comes across the line in position 7. That was almost game over for the defending champion. He's in 7th place, just ahead of Noah Wolf, who's attempting to capitalize on that slight error from Alexander Bondarev. Wolf, Peschel, Reckenmacher, Gael Back, Jack Eilert, Skulinov, Joel Pajola, Gino Rocchio, Tobias Shenzeni, Louis Castellini, Shimek, Gurcic, the two Czechs, Roman Kamyab, and the final runner is the Canadian Alexander Chartier. There's Stepan Antonov, the Franciacorta race winner, dives down the inside and goes position 1. Kirill Titiev follows him through. The Russians first, second here at SARNO. There is Hannah Hernandez as Kirill dives down the inside. Nicely done in the Tony Kart. In P1, here comes Salim Hannah Hernandez. Played the waiting game in the first part of this pre-final, but he now sits in behind Kirill, tries to make a move down into turn 2. Titiev closes the door. It is Titiev, Salim Hannah Hernandez, Tiziano Monza, and the Franciacorta round 2 winner, Stepan Antonov. Kirill looks over his shoulder. It is OTK Karts 1 and 2. The Colombian in second place, Stepan Antonov, incidentally, he is the championship leader after his victory in round 2 at Franciacorta. As we see Monza and Hannah Hernandez, this is a fabulous fight as they wrestle their karts over the bumps here at SARNO in the dying stages of the first of our pre-finals here this morning. Stepan pushes the back of the Paralympian kart, simply says move on over. And Stepan Antonov, the Franciacorta round 2 race winner, the championship leader, comes across the line with 3 laps to go in position 1. Monza pushed back to second. Titiev in P3 from Bondarev. It is a 9-kart fight all the way back to Jindre Peschel in the Formula K machine. Just behind Kostoya and Salim Hannah Hernandez. Kostoya was leading the race earlier on. He's back in position 8. Tony Kart Racing Team entry, Kirill Titiev 3-2-3 in position 3. Monza tries to take the lead away from Stepan. Can't quite do it that time. He's still got 2.5 laps remaining. The first of our pre-finals here this morning. Round 3, the WSK Supermaster Series here at the foot of the active volcano, Mount Vesuvius in the south of Italy. Antonov, 2 laps, 3.1 kilometers remaining as they come across the line right now. Antonov through the speed trap. 129 k's an hour. 131 for Gael Bag. And Kostoya as well. The penultimate lap of the first of our pre-finals here this morning to set the grid for the junior final. Round 3 of the Supermaster Series. Paralympian, Tony Kart, Kart Republic. 1, 2, 3 as they go up the back straight. 2 Russians and a Swiss Singaporean who leads in the Paralympian Le Mans chassis. The Tony Kart race at 401 RR powered by the Vortex. In second place, Stepan Antonov. Kirill slips up the inside, tries to take the lead. They're 3 wide, and Stepan Antonov simply says spasiba, and he goes through position 1 to lead as they get the last lap board. Kirill Ditsiev side by side with his countryman. Monza's right there. Ditsiev, Monza, Antonov, Oscar Eilert, and that's Noah Wolf in P5. The American trying to take the Brit. Fabulous drive from the younger of the two Eilert brothers from Austin, Texas, USA. There's the Paralins. In second and third, it is Kirill who leads up the back straight. Watch him go to the inside of the circuit. He'll shoot to his right, to your left, as they go down into the old hairpin. Under brakes, they almost run into the back of the Tony kart. Kirill holds him off for the moment. Pulls out 3 kart lengths. Oscar Eilert superb. Here's Stepan Antonov, moves into third. Noah Wolf up the inside. The Brit for the Lennox Racing Team goes through and takes Stepan Antonov. Can he hold on to it? The checkered flag comes out for the Tony Kart team driver. They race across the line. A scattered finish. Kirill Ditsiev wins pre-final A. Noah takes position 2 and Tiziano third. A nail-biting finish to the first of our 10 pre-finals here this morning. Ditsiev wins for the Tony Kart Racing Team. A fantastic finish from Noah Wolf, as Alexander Chartier crosses the line ahead of the Brit Roman Kamyab as the final finisher. Kostoya out on the final lap of the race. A sensational finish to kick things off here this morning. Kirill Ditsiev takes the victory from Noah Wolf by 1.3 seconds. A storming finish from Noah for the Lennox Racing Team in the Charles Leclerc kart. Tiziano in P3 for the Shemek Europe team. Stepan Antonov P4, the Franciacorta race winner. Head of Hernandez, Bondarev, the defending champion, Oscar Eilert, Ginder Peschel, Simon P9, and Guy from the Holy Land of Israel for the Forza Racing Team in P10. Joel Pajola, Jack Eilert, outshone by his younger brother Oscar, but still comes home P12. From Skulinov, good drive, bravo, Gino Rocchio, Shizeni, Castellini, David Gorchicha, Shimek, Chartier, and the final finisher, Roman for Ricky Flynn Motorsport in P20. Kostoya 21st place and did not finish on the last lap of the race. Great to have your company here as you look at Vesuvius, that is cloud cover, I should say. The volcano is not erupting yet, and it won't. It has not since officially 1944, although it did start to rumble in the late 1970s as well. We'll take a very short break. Great to have you as you watch our live coverage of round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series from SARNO. We'll be back with pre-final B for OK Junior in just a moment. Great to have your company as you join us live for pre-final B for OK Junior here at SARNO, the 1,550 metre circuit. If you're watching us on wsk.it, on the official Facebook page of WSK Promotion, and of course on Motorsport TV as the carts come out of onto the circuit. If you are watching our coverage on the Facebook page of WSK Promotion, send us a message. Let us know where in the world you are watching, as Enrico Forte sta guardando la nostra ripresa da Treviso. Guardiamo la griglia. We watch the grid. We take a look with the Swede to start on pole position. Ilya Kaczynski and Scott Lindblom lock out the front row of the grid. Then it's Zach and Alp, Dries and David, Lev Krutogolov and Sancho Yu, Oliver Shinmark and Kit Bolofsky out of grid 10. The Brit has been impressive this weekend. David Bottaro, Lewis Francis, Sebastian Lettmarki and Alfie Slater. Henry Domain, Bennett Gaspar, Clara. He's alongside Jensen, then Kasai and Jakub Minkalev from Malta. Zachary Taylor, the Canadian, alongside Arata Endo, Louis Gaucher from Duranov, Darren Sheng, Vanchik, Guerrero Ferrand, and Jensen Burnett. What a tough run for the Canadian. Now with Ricky Flynn Motorsport, 4 heats on Friday and yesterday, and 4 incidents, 4 DNFs. Henry Domain, I can tell our British fans watching on live, has not left pit lane. The Sodi car being pushed back to the grid. It looks as though he's got a foul plug. They'll quickly try and change it. Henry Domain, who was to have started on the 8th row of the grid alongside Bennett Gaspar. Well, the Hungarian's got no one alongside him. Henry Domain is out before the start. Up to the line, the Swedes on the front row of the grid. We race. Perfect start from Ilya Kaczynski. Watch Dries van Langendonk. The Belgian slipped down the inside into turn 1. And the Energy Course Kart, well, he made a good initial jump, but he's got 3 Tony Karts and a Paralin ahead of him, including Scott Lindblom and the Lonato race winner, Alpak Soy. They go down the old back straight for the first time. Ilya Kaczynski sits down low behind the steering wheel of the Wood Racing Tony Kart in position 1. A clean start for pre-final B, with the exception of the British driver Henry Domain, who's out before the start. There's Zach on the attack. That's Drummond in position 2. The Scottish flag on the top of his helmet, driving the Paralin. He's got a Tony Kart ahead and a Tony Kart behind, as the field fight for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th in place. 7th place as well as they come across the line. It is Kaczynski, the Swede, in the lead from Zach. Scott Dries gets by Lev Krutogolov for Porsche Racing. Alpak Soy, position 6 ahead of Shinmark, David Cosmo Christopher, Sancho Yu, and David Bottaro. Kit Bolofsky in position 10, just ahead of his fellow Brit, Alfie Slater and Lewis Francis, trying to make his way up through the field. A tough run this weekend for Lewis, after being in the top 6 consistently at Franciacorta. We'll see what the Australian can do. He's got the 2 English drivers ahead in the form of Alfie Slater and Kit Bolofsky. And speaking of the Brits, you can see the Scotsman goes back to P1. Scott in second place just runs into the back of the Glaswegian, the Paralin in position 1. Scott Lindblom, quite a few people's pick to take victory here this weekend. He looks over his right shoulder once, looks over it twice, back to his countryman. The Swedish drivers in second and third. Dries van België in position 4. Elliott slips up the inside. Van Langendonk splits the 2 Swedes, and Zach Drummond escapes. Well, that was a strong, aggressive move. It wasn't the cleanest in history, but Ilya Kaczynski has gone through, and Scott's back to position 4. Shinmark makes it 3 Swedish drivers inside the top 5. In fact, they're 3rd, 4th and 5th, because you've just seen Dries van Langendonk from Zolder in Belgium slip down the inside, and he's up into 2nd place. Dries van Langendonk, pole position, fastest qualifier for the first round of this, the WSK Supermaster Series. At Lonato for round 1, he's in 2nd place, but it is the Scotsman, Zach Drummond, 2-time British cadet champion, runs a little bit wider, turn 1, and watch Dries van Langendonk try and pounce down into turn 2, holds on. The Paralin rides the bumps on the grip. Dries van Langerdonk, and then not one, not two, but three Swedish drivers. In third, fourth and fifth, Kaczynski, Lindblom. And there is Oliver Schinmark for Koski Motorsport in position 5. Behind him, Cosmo Christopher, Lev Krutogolov, Kid Bolovsky with the fastest lap of the race at this early stage in a purple sector as well. Kit is coming after Lev Krutogolov. The driver for Bosch Racing, the team based at what is now being a rebuilt Chaika circuit on the outskirts of Kyiv in Ukraine. Lev Krutogolov, 3.53, the Iami-powered OTK kart as the energy slips down the inside. DVL goes position 1. Kaczynski in second place. A fabulous fight here this morning in pre-final B. OK Junior, round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series. And Zach is back to position 4. Van Langerdonk in P1, ahead of Kaczynski, Lindblom, Drummond and Schinmark for Koski Motorsport. That's Lev Krutogolov in the background. 3.53, the Iami-powered Tony car for Bosch Racing. Started out of grid 7 as Elliott slips down the inside. The Swedes first and second. Kaczynski goes back to P1. DVL's run in the lead is short-lived, just a couple of laps. And Elliott Kaczynski, remember, started on pole position, has gone through to lead from his fellow Swede, Scott Lindblom, who has to go defensive into the final corner. That costs him. It will cost him top-end speed as Kaczynski slips down the start-finish straight at 127 k's an hour, 130 for Zach Drummond. Kaczynski runs wide at turn 2, doesn't panic, just lets the kart grip up on the rubber line here at Sarno, turns in, accelerates the Joachim Ward-tuned Vortex. On the Tony kart, just accelerates and gets him out of trouble as they go down the back straight on lap 6 of 13. Pre-final B for OK Junior. There's Schinmark down the inside, the Swedish drivers, first, second and fourth. He takes the Scotsman. DCC in position 6. Van Langerdonk back into second place, hasn't given up hope of taking victory here this morning. We'll check the gap. It was 0.3 of a second between Kaczynski last time round. Stays the same because Dries, despite making that pass, has just gone purple halfway through the race. A 55.801 for Dries van Langerdonk. A purple lap, a top speed of 130 k's an hour, and the gap is 0.358 of a second. A Swedish driver ahead of him, a Swedish driver behind him, both driving Tony karts. But Dries van Langerdonk, the Belgian, in the energy, in second place. Oliver Schinmark in P7 being caught by Kit Bolovsky, who's been in superb form his first year of WSK racing for the British driver. In position 8 as Dries van Langerdonk, he led earlier on, and he slips by the two Swedish drivers, and DVL back into position 1. So we start lap 8 of 13, OK Junior, pre-final B. Dries van Langerdonk in P1 as Elliott Kaczynski has to defend, and at the same time try and attack. There's Lev Krutogolov. In the background's just set a 55.454, 0.2 of a second faster than the race leader. Lev Krutogolov, the Bosch Racing Ukrainian from the Chaika circuit, up into P5. He's gone by the Romanian Tavi Cosmo Christopher, Schinmark, Sancho Yul, Kit Bolovsky, Davide Botaro, Alfie Slater, Arata Endo, Alpak Soy, the Lanato race winner from Istanbul in Turkey, struggling down in 13th place. Krutogolov down the inside, and he slips up into 4th place, but he runs wide on the exit. And critically, he'll be on the outside of Zach Drummond and David Cosmo Christopher down into turn 1, but incredibly, he holds it. Good horsepower from the Bosch-tuned Iami engine on the Tony kart, on the back of the factory Tony kart of Scott Lindblom. But he runs out wide. Zach on the attack, and the Glaswegian takes him back. That's David Cosmo Christopher, the Romanian in the Kart Republic, just behind that group. Nicely defended from Lev Kurutugolov, and he holds on to fourth place. Dries van Langendonk, though, as they fight for second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. He's built a gap of 9/10 of a second. TVL pole position in round one of the WSK Supermaster Series, looking to take the pre-final victory and ultimately the race win this afternoon. The Scotsman down the inside of the Swede. Scott holds him off, the third-generation racer. Looks over his shoulder. Drummond being pushed by Kurutugolov and David Cosmore-Christopher. Zach up the inside. How did he do that? Oh, but he's been turned around on the exit. Drummond goes out. He just made a brilliant move. He found space where there was none. He was turned around on the exit. Zach is out. Oh, what a disaster for the Scotsman, who just moved up into third place at the exit of turn 2 with an outstanding move. Drummond turned around on the exit. The Glaswegian is out. Kurutugolov goes up into third place, and now a cloud hangs over the Ukrainian. Did he make contact with the Scotsman? At the exit of turn 2, it matters little because Zach Drummond is out. Started on the inside second row of the grid. Many people's favourite for the victory this afternoon. Is still possible, but he won't be starting at the front of the grid. That will cost him big time. We just got a glimpse of his Paralin parked on the inside of the circuit. He is the sole retirement from pre-final B here this morning. Dries van Langendonk will win the pre-final B. He's got 1.6 seconds over Ilya Kaczynski with 2.5 laps remaining. Dries van Langendonk, superb, and wants the win here this afternoon. Kurutugolov, Scott Lindblom, and David Cosmore-Christopher. The big beneficiary of that unfortunate incident was the other British driver, Kit Bolofsky, who's moved up to 6th place as we go full course yellow for an incident off screen with Lewis Francis. Lewis Francis has had a moment down into turn 2, and we've gone full course yellow. Lewis was sitting in 13th place behind his countryman Jensen Burns. But a nasty incident just somewhere in turn 2 off screen. And Lewis Francis with an accident. The race has been neutralised, and that confirms the fact that Dries van Langendonk will certainly win pre-final B here. And all of a sudden, that incident involving Zach Drummond is put into perspective because Lewis Francis is being attended to by the medical team. We'll try and bring you an update as soon as possible. We do hope that it is just precautionary as Dries van Langendonk starts the last lap of the race under full course yellow here at SARNO. And the good news is, for our viewers watching on home in Australia, Lewis is fine. That is the important news. We will go green and checkered flag this time around. Dries van Langendonk will win the pre-final. Lewis Francis, the most important thing is he is okay, even though he joins Zach Drummond and Henry Domain as the 3 retirements. Henry not making the start. This is the last lap. This is the last few corners. Dries van Langendonk will win pre-final B in OK Junior. The race has been neutralised due to an incident with Lewis Francis, but the Australian is fine, and we'll see him fighting back in the final, albeit from the back of the grid later this afternoon. So Dries comes round the final corner. The checkered flag waves. The winner, Van Bellier, for Team Energy, takes the victory over Ilya Kaczynski, David Cosmore-Christopher, Lev Kurutugolov, Scott, Oliver, Kit Bolofsky, 7, ahead of Sanjay Yul, Alfie Slater and David Abotado in P10, just ahead of the Lonato race winner, Alpak Soy. confirmation of Dries taking the victory, and he'll be starting somewhere near the front of the grid for the final this afternoon. Elliot Kosinski, P2, the pole sitter. Cosmo Christopher, Lev Krutugalov, Scott Oliver. Look at the three Swedish drivers inside the top six. Kit Polovsky, Sun Zhao Yu in the Formula K kart, Slater Botaro, and there is Al Paxoy in P11. The Lonato race win ahead of Ara, the Endo, Jensen Burns. Then at Gaspar Kosai-Guma, Lektamaki, Jensen Burnett gets the checkered flag for the first time this weekend in 17th place. Ahead of Clara Kovalchik from the back of the grid, Duranov, Darren Zheng, Kurar Finan, Louis Cochet, Jakub Mikhailov, Van Chick and Zach Taylor, the Canadian. Lewis, Zach and Henry not seeing the checkered flag. We'll take a very short break here from SARNO. You're watching us live on WSK.IT and Motorsport TV as well. Round 3 of the WSK Supermaster Series live from Circuito Internazionale Napoli.
No, che devo cavalletto buono. Un maffotto.
You can leave so soon, didn't wanna make you run around. Cause it seems I tripped up once again. Now I'm lying down again, staring up into a cloud of questions why. Blurry visions through tired eyes. Got a lot of things that I need to say, got a lot of things that I need to find a way to rest my head.